In this video, we're going to talk about how you can build both a business and a family, right? I think sometimes we think we can only do one, but you want to build success in both. So we're going to talk about building those two together so you can have your family life and you can also build a great business at the same time.
When we first got married, we didn't really know if we were going to build a family necessarily. We obviously just were enjoying each other. We had about 6 years of marriage before little Zoe came into our life, and obviously proposed a new challenge, but proposed a new amazing opportunity to show her what it looked like to be an amazing husband and wife, to be a unified family, to have a great family vision. And right from the beginning, did we know that? No. But as she came into our lives and we started to grow each other and started to grow around her and starting to get into developing ourselves and building something stronger together, we just knew that we could do anything and everything no matter what. And I think what unfortunately we do as a society is we use our kids as an excuse instead of a reason. And our kid was always a reason to do something more. We will never apologize for, Zoe having babysitters or nannies or spending a little bit of time away from her, because when we were able to build, a life of choices and options and be able to homeschool her and raise her into her teen years and see her thrive, and you being her best friend, and obviously me being a man, an example for her to hopefully find down the road after a very rigorous interview process. We just knew that we would do whatever and we wouldn't change a thing in those early years from spending that much time, quote unquote, away from her. I mean, we will spend 40, 50, 60 hours a week away from our kids at a job, no problem, and not even think about it. And then we just did a couple hours here and a couple hours there, on top of our job here. And was always playing blocks or playing Legos with the nanny or playing with the dog or something. And we went out there and crushed it and put in the extra time, put in the extra miles, put in the extra dedication. And she would tell you as well, she never even remembered any of those times. She just knew that she was in a safe place. She was with good people, but she knew her mom and dad represented something way bigger than just the local club or whatever.
As a parent, I think I can speak, especially as a mom, there were days that I would leave her with the nanny or babysitter that I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely some getting in the car and going, man, I feel like I haven't seen her. I work today and now I'm going out and building a business. Like, I just want to stay home. I do understand where parents are coming from, and it can be hard. It can pull on your heartstrings, but I realized pretty early on, kids are manipulative, like from a really early age too. Like, we think our little 6-month-old couldn't possibly understand manipulation, but they do, right? And so I remember we were leaving.
Little sinners.
And Zoe was crying and she was really upset. Mom, don't go, don't go, don't go. And I'm in the car and I'm crying, and I called the nanny, like, I don't know, 2-3 minutes later, and I was like, everything okay? Hey, here's Zoe in the back. She's laughing. She's playing a game. She had forgotten that we left, right? And I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I got so worked up over this. And I could have, at that moment, I could have made the decision to tell the nanny to go home. I was going to stay, and I could have missed that meeting. But I go, in 2 minutes, she was fine. And it was at that moment that I realized that, one, they're not as emotional as they play off. They're just trying to kind of get their way, right? But I also thought if I had missed that meeting, that would have been way more detrimental than the 30 seconds that she cried after I left. And so I think it never was a thing for us where we said, are we going to, what do we do now? We have a kid. Can we still build a business? We never asked that question. We'll go to work and we will work a job for 60 hours a week, and we will put our kids in daycare and we won't think anything of it. Like, that's societally accepted. That's the norm. That's what we do. And then I remember when we started our business, we got pushback from people, and they were like, oh, you're going to leave her? Like, how, you spend so many hours away. And I thought, it's so interesting. Like, in our world, we were thinking, well, we're doing the same thing that you do. We just go out and build a business. We just have a nanny during the evening. We just don't go to daycare during the day. Like, it was very different. But I remember talking to you once and we were like, it was never a thing. Like, oh no, now that we had a kid, could we not build a business? It was, we're building a business. That's what we're doing. We'll figure out how to navigate being a family. And so we got super intentional with our time.
Yep.
And that's something I teach people. I go, it's totally possible. There's the old saying, they spell love T-I-M-E.
Yeah.
Because for a kid, it's the amount of time, it's the quality time you spend with them. So we just made sure that when we were home, we spent quality time, right?
Yeah.
We always left Sundays to not do appointments so that we could have a day of family, a day of church. And we just dedicated ourselves 100% to her when we were home. And to Jake's point too, we just knew as well that if we did this for a period of time, there was going to be a moment where we were going to get our time back. So for us, we wanted to homeschool Zoe. And so first grade was her last year of school.
Yeah.
And I remember Jake picked her up from the last day of first grade and was like, that was it, like, you're gonna homeschool now. And so then we got to homeschool. So we were home with her every single day. Cool. And we did that from 2nd to 8th grade. Yep. And that's where our relationship really grew. And so I don't know, sometimes I think people think it's this terrible sacrifice. Like, you're gonna be away from your kids. They're gonna be broken and it's gonna be so hard for them. But like she's the happiest kid. And then a few years ago, she was talking to me and she asked me, she goes, did I have a nanny a lot? And I was thinking about it because she really had a nanny until she was, old enough to stay home alone. She had babysitters. But really, as we were working, probably till she was 7 or 8, she had a nanny pretty consistently. And then she had babysitters on and off when we had business meetings. And she literally doesn't remember it. Like, she kind of remembers the nanny that she had. Like, if we talk about her, she remembers the nanny, but she doesn't remember being with the nanny. And I go, she doesn't remember any of that. But what she does remember is being home with me for homeschool every day, right? Field trip guy, Jake always took her on the field trips. Like, she remembers those memories more so. And so building a business while having a kid is not a thing. They're like, you can do it. You just have to be willing to do it.
Well, I think most men will go, oh, I'd die for my family. You know, that 2 seconds of courage every man I think would step up to the plate for. But would you change for your family? And Jolene and I especially, you know, I was like, man, I was willing to change. I was willing to do whatever it takes to build her something great and to show her what it looks like to be a follow-through man. And, you know, we were talking about this the other day where it's like we had that blueprint kind of inertly put into us when we were kids though as well. Because remember, I was telling the story about my dad, and my dad had all these little business ventures. And it was never a question if we were going to go with him or not. Because, I mean, we were all young. My dad had a little shop he worked out of his van in, and he had just a medical device kind of sharpening business or something like that. And we would literally go with him and we'd play around in an empty parking lot for hours while he would sit there and work and bust his butt. And then he had a TV repair shop, and then he had another kind of business working with oil and gas stuff and just all these things. And no matter what it was not a question if the family would go, it was, we're going. And I just think, you know, you look at how families farm together. It wasn't a question, well, my kid doesn't like to go with me. That's a parenting problem, not a child problem. We never asked Zoe if she wanted to come to something or not. Like, she was coming because it's what we do, it's how we or stay with the nanny. I was not interested in asking for her permission. It was, we were going to lead our family and lead it effectively and show her what it looks like to go, achieve the American dream and build something great. And it happened, you know, in that big economic shift out of the 1950s where, you know, it was like 2-income households and then the kids were raised by the school system type thing. And again, I'm not anti-jobs, I'm not anti-careers, I'm not anti any of those things. I think they're all fantastic. They all fit a role. But it's like we would pawn our wife off to the highest bidder, we would pawn our kid off to the lowest bidder, and then we would just hope everything kind of works out. And this day and age, man, take charge again. Come together again, build something in unison. And whether or not Zoe continues on the family business, that's indifferent to us. We believe that based on the morals and the things she's seen, she'd be kind of silly not to. But more than anything, she totally will, because even if it's not this industry, she'll build an industry and she'll have a personality about her and some values about her to where she doesn't give up on things. She won't let herself just settle. She'll have some follow through because she's seen us go through the toughest of tough, the good of good, but then still go open up that new door to the newest person and still believe in that newest person and not give up on ourselves, which is big, man. There's no better example or no better gift I think you could give a kid than a great example. And it's your follow through and your dedication, not just playing blocks with them, not just playing, you know, baseball with them and stuff. Go show them what it looks like to tackle life, because they'll remember that 10 times more.
And I think this is maybe a little controversial, but you know, I think the old saying, your kids don't hear what you say, but they see what you do. One of the biggest things we always said is that we wanted, if anything, what Zoe gets from us is hard work, right? If that's the one characteristic that she takes from us, it's that hard work is what pays off, right? And, you know, and this is where I go maybe controversial, but I think for so many people, the schedule is I go to work, I come home from 5 to midnight is my time. And oftentimes what we do is we sit, we watch TV, we scroll social media, and I go, your kids don't necessarily hear what you say, but they see what you do. So if that's the example, that's probably what they'll do. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but we were just hoping to instill in Zoe an idea that you have these hours from 5 to midnight after you're done with the job, because she will have a job.
Yeah.
She will have to have an income in the beginning. But I go, what do you do with those hours, right? And so hopefully what we instill in her is go build something great for yourself. Whether it's the business that we've built or she goes and does something entirely different, doesn't really matter to me. As long as she goes out and just does something, has a purpose, has a vision, and pursues something. So for us too, I think all along, building a business while having a family is we wanted to be that example to her of what it looked like to really go and grow something. So.
And none of us will ever regret following through. I think we'll look back and regret not taking taken that chance to go do something great. We'll always look back and go, man, why didn't I just try? Why didn't I go dive in? Why didn't I give my little girl that example, or whatever it may be? And there again, and I'm just speaking from a man's perspective, most of the time in our nights and weekends, men fill their time with hobby softball, hobby fantasy football, hobby this, hobby that. And I was like, I wanted to make my family a hobby. I wanted to make my purpose in life a hobby of building and serving a bigger something. And again, right or wrong, indifferent, you go do you, boo-boo. But at the end of the day, man, Jolene and I were gonna stay really focused on building it, because I know there's so many people out there where they go, I want more, then you just gotta be willing to do a little bit more. And that's the big one that I think is that once you tweak that piece, man, it's cool how much life opens up. And how much time you realize you have. Like people think, I'm busy, and I go, you're not busy. I go, you're busy with dumb stuff. Busy is an overglorified term for time management. So you know what, guys, if you're looking to build a business, you're looking to build that balanced family life, you're looking to build a vision above and beyond yourself, we'd love to connect. Subscribe, click the link, check out our videos, keep connecting, build that community, be around somebody who's thriving in life. What's the worst that could happen is you learn something, you earn something, or heaven forbid, you follow through and you become something.